We've done an ag show here for the FCW came on air back in 1954. We're still the only station dedicates a whole noon hour every day just to the world of agriculture. It's something that's extremely important to us. Thrilled to be moderating today's announcement and our panel discussion on women in ag. But before we get to the winners, I want us to take a look at a video that AFSC did. It's a new women in agriculture video. So hopefully technically the gods are with us. Let's roll the video.
Being a woman in agriculture today, it's kind of a hard thing for me to decipher because I've never really sat back and sort of split myself out from the male gender. It's always sort of been, you're a farmer and that's it. There was never really any genders differentiating who had what responsibilities.
Being a woman in agriculture, I've always seen it as the same as honestly anyone being in agriculture. If you work hard and you do your best, you're always going to find a place.
I was born into farming. It wasn't something that I really kind of decided to do. It was something that just sort of I found my way back to. I had moved away from the farm for college, and it wasn't very long after that I realized that was the path for me and was drawn back to it.
Looking at other women in agriculture and knowing that I can do it, I've never really been afraid to do anything. But it's always nice when you see others blaze a path before you. But I definitely feel like no matter your gender, you can do whatever you want in this world. Agriculture is no exception.
We've really seen women in agriculture evolve over the years, and that more women are taking on very important leadership roles within our industry as a whole.
I think we can really support and empower women in the agriculture industry by recognizing the efforts that they do and the things that they bring to the table. I think it's time we change the narrative. Gone are the days where the farmer really hopes that he has a son to take over the family farm, because we are now raising really strong, smart, capable, independent daughters. And they are just as capable of being next in line to take over the family farm as well.
Very well done. And those strong, smart, capable, independent daughters have and will continue to reshape agriculture here in our province. I'd like you to help me welcome today Kelly Smith-Fraser, who is our board chair at AFSC, and Daryl Kay, who is the CEO, and they're ready to recognize some of the women who are advancing agriculture and the women's role within it. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Daryl. Take it away.
Good morning, Jackie. Thank you so much. We're thrilled to be here today on International Women's Day to announce the winners of the second annual Women in Agriculture Award. It's an opportunity for us to pause and to consider a gender equal world. It's a world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive, and to celebrate 7 women who are working to bring equity to our industry.
Thanks, Kelly. At AFSC, we believe that diversity, inclusion, and equity are key to a strong and flourishing workplace and industry. Each year, we, through the work of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council, strive to be more inclusive and ensure opportunities exist for all. We're also encouraged by the creation and existence of Elevate, an employee resource group for women. AFSC team members Kyla Smith and Jenny Chesney established this group, and its mission is to create a positive and inclusive space for women to learn, share, and build themselves and their careers. We believe it's important on International Women's Day to share stories highlighting milestones and achievements like Elevate, while continuing the conversation on expanding opportunities.
That's why an award like the Women in Agriculture is so important. They provide an opportunity to share the stories and the accomplishments of women in agriculture and recognize the key role that women have and continue to play in agriculture. They're the farmhand, the partner, the producer, the board member, and through events like today's, we can encourage more women to take their place as leaders, ensuring our industry has strength through diversity and continues to have a competitive edge.
Once again this year, we were humbled by the contributions and commitment of the nominees. We received nominations highlighting so many amazing women from all over Alberta. We were blown away by the applications. So thank you to everyone who submitted a nomination and helped make the Women in Ag Award a success.
Today, we're proud to announce the Women in Ag Award winners. These women have made noteworthy contributions to Alberta agriculture and have worked to create new space for women in the agriculture and agri-food sector.
Before we share the news, I want to take a minute to thank the selection committee members. First, Rebecca Green from the Alberta Association of Agricultural Societies, Saida Kurum from 4-H Alberta, Cheryl Brooks from CFCW, Steve Lappin from AFSC, and of course, Kelly Smith-Fraser, AFSC's board chair. I know it was challenging but rewarding task to review all the applications and select our winners.
And now, with no further delay, here's our 2023 winners. Linda Dargy from St. Vincent, Lynn grew up in rural Northeast Alberta on a mixed farm. Hi, Lynn. Along with her 4 sisters. She learned everything she could as she grew up on the farm and studied agricultural production and management at Olds College. Lynn is the founder and CEO of Farm Bucks. It's an advocate of Alberta ag industry and is passionate about women in ag. She was featured in Picture a Farmer in 2019. It's a short documentary that follows 3 Alberta farmers challenging conventional ideas of women's roles on the farm.
Next, congratulations to Melody Garner-Skiba from Waterton Lakes National Park. Melody is the Executive Director of Alberta Sugar Beet Growers and the President of the Canadian Sugar Beet Producers Association. She is ambitious and driven in her task to ensure the sugar beet industry remains alive and prosperous for generations to come. Melody has become involved in government, trade policies, and local communities to ensure the sugar beet industry's voice is heard and help combat the many challenges facing the industry. She uses grants and funding opportunities to help build up the sugar beet industry and create prosperity wherever possible.
Next, we have Margot Jarvis Redelbach from Brooks. Margot is a professional agrologist who has devoted much of her career to supporting the Alberta irrigation sector. She is a committed advocate for women in the agriculture sector and supports other women in their endeavors, particularly female agrologists. By being who she is and through her vocal and public advocacy for her industry, as well as professional and skilled interactions with people inside and outside the industry, and her confident, capable leadership, Margot is making the agriculture industry a better place for women.
Next, we have Vicki Johns from Rimbey. Vicki is an agricultural professional with AFSC and a cattle producer, and she shares her love of farming and the perspective it affords her with everyone around her. She is committed to helping her peers at work and in the ag community. She shares her love of agriculture with her family, friends, co-workers, and clients. Vicki inspires other women by being active and present in the farming community. She is a role model for many as she proves daily that women can and should play a role in the farm, helping to ensure its success.
Next, we have Anne Philpott from Spruce Grove. Anne is the majority owner of West Grove Farms. It's an indoor vertical farm and is committed to developing the farm and her employees. The farm, which has been in production since 2019, is entirely staffed by female employees who are typically between the ages of 20 and 35. Anne has made the agriculture industry a better place for women as West Grove Farms gives female workers an opportunity to enter the farm industry.
Next, Natasha Pospisil from Kiramir. Natasha is working towards a more equitable agriculture industry. She is an active participant in the family farm, in her community, and in agriculture. As a business owner, community builder, and mentor, Natasha is concerned with connecting and growing her community. Her general store is filled with parts and other ag necessities, along with the expected convenience store items, keeping her community strong. The coffee is always on at the store, and most mornings you'll find community members gathering to exchange news, ideas, and advice.
And rounding out our slate of 7, we have Tara Weaver from Lloydminster. Tara is the epitome of a successful female farmer. Her passion for her work and her mission to educate and inform the public about her life, agriculture, and food industries is a major contribution in making agriculture a better place for women. Tara strives to strengthen rural communities and connect with people who are interested in learning more about agriculture or sharing ideas and resources. She is also an active volunteer who has helped provide children with a better understanding of where food comes from and an appreciation of how animals are raised. Thank you, Tara.
So big congratulations to each of the winners as well-deserved recognition of your contributions. Turn it back to Jackie. Yes.
Everybody clap for yourselves. Yay! Congratulations. This is awesome. The 2023 AFSC Women in Ag. We're going to be moving into the panel discussion, and I'm curious to learn bit more about each of you and your thoughts about what it's like to be a woman in ag, advocacy, allyship, optimism for the future. Our panel discussion will touch on each of those topics. And if we have time at the end, we're going to open it up for questions. And if something hits you and you hear something and you do have a question, just put it in the chat and then we'll look at those at the end. I know you're going to be nice and respectful. You're probably going to say, my goodness, Jackie Ray, you look so young and beautiful. You could put that in the chats. Remember, your name is attached to the question. And pitter patter. But before I begin, I want to take a picture of all this. This is very cool. Smile. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. Now, first, for Anne and Vicky and Lynn, this question I'm going to direct towards you. We'll start with you, Anne. Do you think the agriculture industry has become more welcoming to women over the past decade? And if so, in what ways do you see it?
Well, if I'm completely honest, I don't know all the specifics about the inclusion of women in agriculture as I'm quite new to it. But I think it's fair to say that the growth of any industry is becoming more and more dependent on innovation. And this will absolutely open the doors for women. I feel most of us have a more innate flexibility, which is key to shepherding any industry into a new era. While the goal to provide quality and sustainable food to our communities remains the same, the methods have changed with the resources, and this includes our workforce. We have found that controlled environment growing is something that attracts women of all ages. So 100% of our staff is female. Women tend to be observant and detail-oriented, and that focus has led to the growth of a quality product that we're all proud of here.
And I think you with the vertical farming too, it's new to everybody really in a lot of ways. So it's got to be a lot of training, I would imagine, hey?
There was a lot of research and practice, and yeah, it's been very busy.
I believe that. Vicky, what are your thoughts on that? Have we become more welcoming to women?
So first off, I just want to say that Miss Rodeo Canada, Mackenzie Skeels, is our niece, and we're pretty proud of her. She worked really hard the last 5 years to get this amazing title. So
that is so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think women have always been a part of farming. Farming is an occupation done primarily in isolation. So the perception of what it looks like is not really what it is. It's a team effort on every farm. And women have always been a huge part of the operation. But now their contributions are getting more recognition. Women are stepping forward into the roles of being the face of agriculture. Social media has been a huge part of breaking down the stereotypes of women's roles in farming. So yes, I do believe that agriculture industry is more welcoming than even a decade ago, and building awareness of women in agriculture to the world will increase acceptance of our importance.
Yeah, and Lynn, let's go to you in St. Vincent with you with the farm bucks, and that was definitely a unique way to go and something needed too. You must have noticed some changes here.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I kind of echo the same thoughts that were just mentioned, but because women have always played such an important role in agriculture this entire time, but now we are stepping forward when we're filling maybe more crucial roles, or perhaps I think we're just participating more, and our voices are being heard definitely more so now than before, right? There's a little more inclusivity and people, I guess, just listening to what we have to say. They recognize maybe we have more power now too. So yeah, we all bring something to the table.
Yeah, I find, when I think about me in radio for 40 years, for many, many years, I was the only woman at the table. I was the only woman on air in a lot of instances. And as we look at the only woman in the room on boards, leadership, a recent ag study by the Canadian Ag Human Resource Council needs assessment identified a lot of common barriers to women's participation on boards and in these leadership roles. So my question, and we'll start with you, Natasha, what helped you to overcome barriers to participation and see success as a woman in ag?
Well, I think for me, that a barrier is a challenge. Bring it on. Let's see where we can take it. I'm one of those people that tell me I can't do something, I'm going to tell you that I can, and I'm going to show you that I can. And that's kind of largely what helped me overcome different barriers. I definitely didn't have a traditional route into farm that we now run and the retail that we run for our fertilizer, seed. I did not. I came into the ag world via the oil patch. I was actually I was a landman was how I came into it, and I kind of have a funny story. Many years ago, I had the chance to go to Lynn's farm, and I had dealt with her dad, and I had watched girls out there, they're out in the cows, and they were working, and he was just proud as punch. It was just the coolest thing, and it's people like that. And I mean, my family raised me separate. There was no barriers. You do what you do because it's what's in you to give. And it was really inspiring to see her father not believe in those barriers. So that was a kind of a neat thing. But yeah, I think it's just you push through and you know that you have something to offer. And like I sit on different boards, I sit on Outstanding Young Farmers. And I think it's just more, just a different perspective is what the women bring to the table.
Yeah, and with mentioning the Outstanding Young Farmers, I hear we've got a synergy happening with Ag Smart and Olds this August.
Yeah, that was
smart move. Maybe talk a little bit more about that, because I thought when I heard that, I thought great idea.
Yeah, that was actually I spearheaded that.
See, Dad, you're smart.
Yeah, so yeah, Outstanding Young Farmers this year is pairing with Ag Smart, and our nominees will have the opportunity to present at one of the educational tents, and they are going to be open to the whole public to come see the people that are doing amazing things in agriculture and attend our event and get a more broader understanding of what young people are doing.
All right, I love it. Okay, let's go to Lloydminster now, and you, Tara. And what helped you to overcome barriers to be a woman in ag? I know you married a fifth-generation farmer.
Yeah, I did, and I think probably the biggest barrier to me being a woman in ag was that I was not raised on the farm. I was raised by parents in healthcare, but I was really lucky. I have an aunt and uncle who farm outside of Edam, Saskatchewan, and Aunt Noreen and Uncle Richard would welcome me, and from there grew a real interest in farming and a real interest in animals. So I went to Lakeland College in Vermilion and got my animal health technology diploma. And you can imagine how that might have gone over in my more professional family when I came home from my, week in the pig barn, and my parents are in the city and I'm coming home with my laundry. I remember my mom saying, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing?" But it was my interest. And it's kind of echoing what Natasha just said. We all have interests and we all have skills. And if we develop them, just keep following that. And you're going to break down barriers if you're good at something, even if it's not in your background, right? And yes, I did. I married a sixth-generation farmer. And luckily for me, his mom and his dad were extremely welcoming to me. So here is this girl who knows very little. This is when I was in high school. And we're processing cows and Tara likes cows. Let's make sure we do it when she can be there. And I am sure for them and for my Aunt Noreen and Uncle Richard, I would have been in the way. I know that now as a farmer, but now I've developed those skills thanks to their leadership. And I know that I have a lot to contribute. And I know by the calls that I get from, our own family and other families, we've got this going on with this animal or that animal. And I stick with what I know and I try and be very real. So I also, I don't know a lot about grain farming, but I have learned to run the baler and I've learned to fix the baler and unplug it and fix the chain. So I wanted to kind of play my princess card a few times with that. I don't really enjoy fixing the chain, but my son, who I was always calling to come and help me, said, "You know what, Mom, I think it's time you learn this." And yeah, why not? I'm a woman in agriculture, but overall, I'm a farmer. I don't really identify as a woman in ag. I'm here to farm and here to share what I know.
I love that. My mother-in-law was from Edam. No one's from Edam.
We're probably related.
Oh, dear Lord. Good luck to you. Oh, my goodness. And Vicki, what are your thoughts about that question? Oh, pardon me. I meant, Vic. I lost my place. I was so excited about hearing all about Edam, Saskatchewan. Becky, what is your or pardon me, that was Anne.
Anne,
Anne,
yeah.
yeah, sorry about that. Got so
That's
flustered.
okay.
You should meet my mother-in-law.
Honestly, the only experience I have is within the last 5 years, but it's been a very positive one. I didn't have a plan to start doing this at 55. I love it. With the damaging effects of climate change and pandemic disruptions in importing produce to Canada, our lettuce has become a very welcomed addition to produce departments in many stores in Greater Edmonton and Parkland areas. And although I've always enjoyed gardening, the learning curve has been a significant one for this type of growing. I've not only become a farmer, but a plumber and an electrician. But I am so happy I don't have to worry about the weather, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
Even
the indoor farm.
even though our operation is different from traditional farming, the desired results are the same. So I would say the key to success depend on your ability to not be afraid to try something new and take the time to learn and embrace new skills. I've done that, sure.
It's funny. I heard Joanna Griffiths from Nix. She invented Nix she was a keynote Saturday night, and she said some of her biggest failures led to her biggest successes, which I think we can all appreciate that. Women with the leadership role in ag, what opportunities and successes have you seen where there are more women on boards and leadership? I looked at all of your resumes, and boy, you're all volunteering, you're all on boards. Margot, do you want to take this one first?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jackie. I think the first thing that I want to comment on is, women on in leadership roles and on boards. They're just natural multitaskers, and a really good opportunity or success when those type of women step onto and into those roles is really, I find, around efficiency of meetings. We all have a lot going on. So when we get to that meeting, though we are busy, we're very prepped. We're ready to go in. We're ready to have some really good discussion. And so we can be very focused on the topics that are put in front of us. But that's not to say that we aren't strategic when we're required to be strategic. And again, I think that is just due to the multitasking nature of most women that I've encountered. We don't often get lost in the weeds, and I think that that's really important. I really see women at leadership tables as being very future focused. Someone in one of the previous questions talked about perspective. And again, as multitaskers, women bring different perspectives because they are involved in so many other things outside of what they may be doing at that leadership table. They're open-minded. They will consider, other points of view, not just their own. And I think this really creates some organizational strength and really helps organizations achieve their mandate and visions. And I would really encourage all women, particularly our younger women coming up in agriculture, to not be afraid of stepping into those leadership roles and stepping onto boards. It may seem intimidating at first, but once you get on them, you'll be fully rewarded in the work that you're doing and the goals that you're setting and what you're achieving through that organization.
And sometimes when you get on them, you just can't get off.
That's right. I'm sure every one of us has been in that position.
Let's go down to Waterton Lake. Melody, your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Jackie Ray. So I actually just came back from the Canadian Federation of Agricultural AGM, and there was a quote that I believe sums this question up great. Mary Larson said this: diversity is a fact, equity is a choice, inclusion is an action, and belonging is an outcome. And every time I've been on a board with women, The sense of community, the sense of belonging, the action of including others, collaboration, getting that engagement from stakeholders is always strengthened and increased. So I think that's one of the core fundamental values that women can bring to leadership in organizations, is that belonging. It's that outcome that everybody's welcome at the table, everybody needs to share their ideas, and let's strengthen and build community together.
Oh, I love that. We're gonna actually, could you type that out actually while we're
I
still
will, you
talking?
bet.
Because I bet you everybody in the crew would love that. Vicky, your thoughts?
Women are being considered for positions on the basis of knowledge and expertise and their willingness to contribute and the role that they can play in that position. There's more female students enrolling in post-secondary agriculture programs, and they're entering the agriculture industry in positions male dominated, such as the machinery dealers and feed companies, to board members. Personally, I know a ton of women on boards and leadership tables, and they're doing a great job. But there's still work to be done to overcome dated stereotypes and to get more women onto agriculture boards and leadership tables.
You know, it's I so agree. You know, and in addition to working on these boards and the commissions, I find women are the ones leading advocacy efforts for mental health. I know I just emceed a Farmers Appreciation Night in Westlock, just understanding mental health and talking about it, and also the use of social media has been really fascinating to me. Is that is so increased in the world of agriculture. What are some examples that are inspirational to you, or what led you to get involved in this way with your work in that area? And Lynn, let's start with you, Lynn.
Well, all the women here are inspirational, no doubt. I mean, anyone that can step up and speak out for themselves is an inspiration. But what really has led me here, a lot of it has to do with our upbringing. You know, one of 5 girls on the farm, no boys. We had no choice but to just do the work, right? Do what needed to be done. There was no question about gender, and it wasn't a matter of if we could do something, it was how, more so. We could do anything we put our mind to. Sure, we might have to be a little more creative at times, you know, if there's like strength limitations or whatever it may be. But mom and dad taught us well, like we raise confident, strong women. And so when these challenges come our way, and, you know, I took over the farm, I just believed and I knew I could do it. I knew I wouldn't do it alone. I built a team of people and would seek help. Those that would listen to me and felt I had their support, and they were going to help me get where I wanted to be. But yeah, I don't know. Women in ag, we were stuck with a lot of challenges, but we have come so far. And I think you can see it here today in how confident and like educated and the roles we're filling now. We're kind of hard to ignore now, right? It seems like we're everywhere. So, I mean, I'm very optimistic of where this is going. And yeah, we bring something new to the table.
I love that. Margot, your thoughts? What was your inspiration?
Yeah, I think I'd like to build on what Lynn's saying, and I think it's around really storytelling and hearing each other's stories. Though the stories might be different, I think that they really all share common threads, and I think that particularly for women. The more we can tell our stories, then we are allowing those people outside of our sector to just naturally learn about our sector and learn about us. And that is so important in this day and age. I mean, we can talk about, you know, that urban rural divide, and it's really related to the fact that a lot of people in urban areas are just not connected with a farming background anymore. So I think it's really important to do that, and we can do that by being on different boards, not just in ag, but outside of our sector as well. You know, one of the main boards that I'm involved with my work is the Alberta Water Council, and that council works on collaborative water management issues provincially, and that my my participation in that board has really allowed me to bring forward and the perspective of agriculture, particularly irrigated agriculture, and be able to learn from some of the individuals in other sectors that sit at that board too. So there's a real natural knowledge sharing and learning where we can understand issues in other sectors, determine where we can be aligned, and then move forward to address those issues and resolve those problems. So yeah, storytelling I think is extremely important, and I do hear it. You know, going into a 4-H meeting, you hear the stories of your 4-H leader colleagues, and you know, most definitely you can always find those common threads in those stories.
I love that. Natasha, anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, in terms of inspiration, I just find ag overall, the entire industry is inspiring, especially if you want to be an entrepreneur, because you can, it's like an entrepreneur's playground in agriculture. There's so many things that you can do, explore, and be challenged by. And I think I liked Margot's comment about I like the rural urban. You know, I think we have, as leaders, we have this opportunity to inspire the urban people, and we have the opportunity to open that door and make it welcoming and inviting. And yeah, I'm just pretty inspired by also the rural rejuvenation for the next generation. Our schools, like, well, very small, has a full-on farm operation. And so that's for the next generation. Those kids are the ones who are going to carry on the positive, progressive message of agriculture. And those are the kind of things that I find inspiring, and that's what keeps me inspired within the industry itself.
And I think we can build on that in that how role models and our networks, supportive networks in ag, help with confidence building for women. Because sometimes all of us, I'm sure everyone in this room, we need confidence building at times. And Tara, maybe you can speak to that.
Yes, I'm about to tell on one of my role models. She's here today. She's probably running right now, but her name is Kelly Sidoric, Kelly Wobeser, she's also known as, depending on which name she's using at the time. But she has been a role model for me for a long time. Before I knew Kelly, I so looked up to her. That sounds funny when you repeat that. Before I knew her, I looked up to her. Now, I still do. But when I was new into ag, she was this woman who is farming and ranching with her dad and her brother. And I'm going to cry. And she was just such a go-getter and still is. But now we've become very dear friends. So I don't really think of her as a role model in our everyday conversations, right? We're very, very dear friends. Our kids are friends. It's multi-generational now. But I'm going to tell on her because as my role model and as such a huge support, she texted me as this began because I had turned my camera off, and she texted me, hey, turn your camera back on. So things like that, you know, just little things, but also big, huge things. I don't think that I would do many of the things, here I go again, that have been talked about in my bio without her. Because she is somebody who says, hey, you can do this. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you, go and be on this board? And oh, by the way, I need some help over here. Will you come and help me? Oh, I made you vice chair. And, she comes from, she was raised this way because it also happened before Kelly and I got terribly involved. I knew her mom. And her mom and I were visiting. I don't remember mentioning ever that I wanted to be on a committee at the Lloydminster exhibition. But I got a call from the Lloydminster exhibition maybe 20 years ago that said, oh, Jean Wobeser called us and said, you'd like to be on this committee, so we've put you on it. And I hadn't said that, but she knew that that would be something that I would like to do and something that I'd get involved in. So I guess my message in this is I would be who I am, but a different me, without those role models and those supports. And I mean, think about the supports I've already spoke of, my aunt and uncle and my in-laws who welcomed me into agriculture just as a bare bones coming on the farm and working. But these people who have then elevated me to do more because they knew that I could. And also Cecile, who nominated me, driven by her brother, my husband's uncle Dave, knows what I'm doing, and they see more in me than even I do. So maybe moving forward, as we celebrate these people who have supported us and who have encouraged us, we can do that for other people too. I now have a daughter-in-law. I have a granddaughter, and I am thrilled when my granddaughter's only 1.5, so she doesn't have her own interests yet. But I will be thrilled to encourage her in whatever direction she wants to go, and guys, girls, all of us together, we can all support each other. And I'm just so thankful to everyone for having supported me.
Yeah, and we've all been voluntold, so don't worry. And you want to add to that? It's about role models and supportive women, because I know in your nomination form, all your staff said how supportive you are to them.
I'm not going to talk about specific role models as Tara did. I'm emotional too, so I just won't go there. But I feel really grateful to have the opportunity to find out more about support that we have in the agriculture industry, because I'm new to it. So events like we have coming up, I'm really looking forward to it, and meeting all of you and so many other great women. It's easy to agree that we're all resilient, motivated, and intelligent. And now, now that more industries are recognizing this, we are able to see our strengths highlighted and celebrated, which is great. As women, our ability to ask for guidance, and lift each other up is what I believe will lead to a balanced agriculture workforce over time. So, I mean, my mom just passed away not long ago. So I try and instill this in my staff for them to, I'm always approachable to them, and I want them to learn, and I want them to be, enjoy what they're doing. So I think strong women surrounded by strong women will always be an asset to any industry, including something new and innovative like what we're doing here. So yeah, I'm not so strong right now. Sorry.
No, I think we all, our heart breaks for you. Yeah, but we all understand what you're saying. And Melody, role models for you.
You know what? I've been really fortunate in my life. I always joke that I live in the I live in the livestock sector because I ranch with my family, and then I work in the crop side. And I've been just blessed with so many role models of both genders. And I think that's really important, is sometimes we focus just on female role models. And I look back, my mom, huge, but my dad as well. And not just within our industry. So looking at women who are just being fierce females and dominating in a really good way in all the other industries. I've been lucky to have a few of those. And I think some of the most important lessons they've taught me is, and some people may not agree, I faked it till I made it. I don't know how many times I put a smile on my face and put my big girl panties on as I've walked into a room and said, I got to do this. And to be authentic and genuine and be tenacious, right? To just never give up. So I think those, when we look at those kind of coaching moments they've given me, that's been invaluable for me. But the other third element that they've always told me is, you have a responsibility to the next generation and do not take it lightly. It is up to all of us to mentor and help grow those individuals, be it male, female, whatever gender, however they identify, to grow them up, to grow them out, and to help them to succeed. So that is everybody's responsibility, as well as be encouraging that authenticity and that tenaciousness. And as one of my best friends says to me, put on your big girl panties and deal with it.
I love that. And I guess, Lynn, let's go to you and say, okay, what can men in agricultural organizations do to support our advancement and our success?
Yeah, I don't want to pick on just men. I think it is kind of a group effort, supporting each other. But obviously, I would like to thank AFSC for even doing these awards. Like, it's that type of recognition that is helping, just women in general be more confident, step up to the plate, play a bigger role. I mean, it's things like that help. And men in general, they're doing, I mean, lots of them are doing a fantastic job of involving us, listening to what we have to say, asking us questions. And so it's all good things. We're moving in the right direction, right? And I'm pretty optimistic and hopeful that agriculture can like lead the way in all these industries, you know, and I don't know, we just play so many roles here, and we all have a part in this. And yeah, I mean, I love ag, obviously, and we all do. So I'm pretty stoked to be part of this. And thanks to AFSC again.
And Margot, I guess with the irrigation district, you obviously work with a lot of men in your role. So what can they do to help us even elevate even more?
Yeah, I'd like to say that I had a very positive experience when I came into the world of irrigation. My first supervisor was male, and he was just outstanding in providing me opportunities for professional development and networking so that I could learn more about the sector. He was very good at one-on-one communication. If I had a question, you know, he never turned me away. So that was extremely positive. As my career evolved, I've been fortunate to be surrounded by a really good group of gentlemen who have always provided me with the opportunity to grow when I needed to grow, and provided me with the space to do my job the way that I need to do it. So I'm very thankful for that. And again, you know, just like Lynn said, the recognition and AFSC, I feel quite grateful that my own sector and the organizations that I've worked with in agriculture have also done corporate recognition throughout the years to recognize the good work that I was doing. And I think I'd like to just end by saying that the support of my life partner has been tremendous. And if he wasn't there to support me through the many ups, but the sometimes downs that I experienced, I think I'd be in a different position. So I do owe a lot to my husband in helping me advance and succeed and get to where I am today.
And for you, Tara, what are your thoughts on what men can do to keep us going the right direction? Because we're only going up, 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 up.
Right? Yes, exactly. I think that men and women, when they're working well and effectively together, they make great teams, you know. So men support us right now at this very moment. I'm being supported by my husband and my son because I lambed out a ewe this morning in the snow, and the lambs have been brought in and they're warm now. I gave them their colostrum, everything is good, but they're checking on them for me now. So I mean, it's just a good team effort, right? You know, as long as we can continue to support each other, I suppose, more than men specifically supporting women, I support them as well when I'm doing things that maybe aren't in exactly my wheelhouse, and I learn how to do it and try and support them in that way. So yeah, I think just supporting each other in the things that we're doing in agriculture and outside of agriculture, I think that's the best way. And you know, physically supporting, just going out and making sure those lambs are still alive, and you know, emotionally supporting, you're fine, letting me kind of think through the ideas that were presented with these questions, you know, kind of bouncing them off of Ron a little bit. You know, what do you think? How would I phrase this? And, you know, emotional support in that way has been very good. But I have a quote also. We had a quote come up earlier today, and I happened upon this. So I think it was meant to be said today. I didn't look for it. And it's called, "No one can figure out," or it says, "No one can figure out your worth but you." And that's by Pearl Bailey. She was an actress and an author and a singer. And I feel like that's very true. I think that it's not up to men to give us value. If women in agriculture are going to continue to grow and to be powerful, it's going to come from the women in agriculture. So we can support each other, but our own growth and our own strength comes from us following what our interests are, what our skills are, and who we are, and being authentic.
And you know, I'm going to go to you, Melody, with my next question, because over the years in radio, obviously, I've dealt with discrimination in the workplace. In fact, CFCW, they didn't hire female announcers. So I started as a promotion director here 40 years ago. But times are changing. But have you had to deal with that in your workplace at the Beet Growers, and how have you dealt with it?
Yeah, great question. So, you know what? I wish I could sit here and say I've never faced discrimination, but that would be just a bald faced lie. So in all of my varied careers, whether it's been construction, ag, definitely I've had some challenges there. When I was young in my 20s, I took that as a real personal hit, right? Like it hit here and it shattered my confidence a bit until I took a step back and actually looked at who was asking the question and how they were asking the question. And as soon as I did that, and I understood that this wasn't coming from a place of malice, for the most part, there's maybe a little bit, but majority was coming because they just hadn't seen women in these roles. Right. So it was coming out of a point of ignorance. So as soon as I was able to flip that and start to think about this is an opportunity to educate and show them that women are more than capable of doing these jobs. It's amazing how many of those individuals have now come back to me, even in my current role. When I started, they said, well, I don't know if a woman can do this job. How many of them have said, because I'm actually leaving ASBG at the end of May to go ranching full time and focus on our family business. I don't know how many of them have actually said, will you stay? We want you to stay. And so just that piece of education, I think, has been phenomenal. So I encourage all the 20-year-olds that are out there, when you get told a woman can't do this, don't take it personal. Flip the narrative and start to educate, because really that's where our opportunity lies, is around education.
Ah, yeah. Vicky, do you want to add to that?
I got two quick stories actually. I got sent to town to go buy a tractor, and I had a list of things that I needed on this tractor list. So I go to the dealership, and the salesman comes up to me and, talks to me about, I said I needed to buy a tractor. And he says, well, we got a few here. He says, if you give me your husband's phone number, I can give him a call. I went, well, I'd just like to get a little bit of information. So he gave me a brochure, and I left, and we never bought a tractor there. And then I was just saying, Mackenzie Skeels, Miss Rodeo Canada, my niece, she was telling me a story a couple days ago that she went to older farmer's place to videotape some bulls for his bull sale. And she was doing a real good job, and he was pretty proud of her, what she did. And so he was having a conversation with her afterwards about so what are you going to do after you're done Miss Rodeo Canada? Do you plan on marrying a rancher? And Mackenzie looks at him and says, I am the rancher. So it's just that what you said, Melody, about it's not anything mean. It's just that's just how was thought of, right?
I remember going with my husband to buy a car, and the salesman, and it was my car, and they talked to my husband the whole time, and I did the same. I didn't buy a car from that guy.
Yeah.
He finally said to him, she's buying the vehicle.
Yeah.
Natasha, how about you? You running into any challenges?
If I was to rewind like 20 years when I went into specifically the oil patch, it was very difficult for me for anybody to hire me to be a field landman, because it just wasn't something that women were doing at that time. And then also when you would go see producers, it was a little bit, it took longer for me to build their trust and prove to them that I was in their court, and I was helping them to deal with their acquisitions, and that they were in good hands, right? But in all of that, for every one producer who didn't believe that I should be there were so many others that were just rooting for you, right? Like, just keep going, don't give up. And I was offered numerous jobs. We'll give you an administration job. You can have an office job. And I said, no, it's not. It's, you have to know your worth, and you have to pursue that worth. And all that's done for the rest of my life, fast forward 20 years, I think it's made me just a stronger business person, a better partner on the farm, and it overall, it rounds you off nicely when you have to experience that and you have to process that growth.
And it might have been the job title, landman.
Yeah, land. Yeah.
Any other thoughts from our panel? What a wonderful discussion today. Would you like to say anything, add on anything to this? If I could, I'd number one like to congratulate you. Number one, I didn't have to say once, your mic's muted. And after I screwed up, I kept my finger on your names as I was going down my cheat sheet list. So I learned my lesson. You can also, any of our guests that have been watching, if you have any questions or anything, please put it in the chat right now. And this has been incredible. I don't know about you, I'm even more inspired. Pretty remarkable women. For CFCW, we're thrilled to be a sponsor of this. Thank you to AFSC, Lynn and Melody and Margot and Vicky, and Natasha, Tara. Congratulations. You should be extremely proud of yourself. This is, for someone else to nominate you, and then you sit back and you go, gee, I've done that. Gee, I did that. And it kind of makes you feel good, and you should feel good because it is so deserved. Thanks to Kelly and Daryl for kicking things off with AFSC. And last chance on the chat room. There's Daryl, there's Kelly, there we go. Thank you very, very much, everybody. It's lunchtime and I'm not buying you lunch.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Everyone next week.
Yeah, look forward to meeting everyone next week.
Next
Thank
week.
you so
That's
much.
right.
Get to meet
Thank
it.
you.
Yes.
Thank
That'll
you.
be great to see you in Calgary,
Likewise.
and look forward to the conference. Thank you all, and
Yeah.
inspiring so much. Thank you for all you've done for the industry.
Thanks.
Everyone.
Great day.
Thank you, everyone.
And keep listening to CFCW so I can keep my job. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah.